Hello, James.
Hello, mate.
You've got a new toy for us.
Oh, yes, I'm very excited about this toy as well. A roofing square of sorts, but it basically takes away all of the old things we used to use, all the old different tools, bevels, squares, and combines them all into one tool. And it is incredible. It's very, very good. It looks a lot like a combination square. You know, you've got little vials in here. It is different because you've got this lever. So that means you can slide it up and down nice and easily, as opposed to the old way you would use a combination square with the little piece that you turn in the middle. When it gets really clever is this little locking piece here. So you unlock that, loosen your lever off, and then we're talking bevels now. So we can start working out angles and degrees. So it's all set out for common rafters, all the pitches and the degrees. You've got one side for plumb cuts, the other side for your seat cut. Then when it gets really, really clever is you flip it over, and then we're now set up for hips and valleys. Let's say, for example, we've got a pitch of 30 degrees set for our common rafters. If we want to cut our hip or valley, we flip it over, loosen it off, then set to 30 degrees on the hip and valley side, lock that back in position, and now we're set up for cutting our hips and valleys, seats and plumb cuts. So we've set our hip and valley to 18 degrees on our Rufus using this side of the blade, because that would correspond if we use that side of the blade on the common side. So we mark our plumb cut for our hip, and then we're going to cut this at 45 degrees. We've already marked it up. This is a genuine first time fit. Oh yes, I say it like it's like I've never done anything like this before, but it's not that. It's the Rufus. That's the amazing bit. That's a tiny little tool, and you know, obviously these are not the biggest timbers in the world, but it is so accurate. It's fast and it's accurate. Now we can get some commons in and then cut some jacks. There is so much more you can do with this tool. I'm just about getting to grips with it now. It's only the second time I've really had it out of the box and given it a good go. The first time I've used it on a hip and valley, or a hip, and it really is incredible. There's a lot more that can be done with it. So, you know, we'll keep working with it and we'll come back, show you a bit more of what it can do, because I think on the box it says 10 jobs, 1 tool. We worked out the pitch for this roof using Rufus, and you know, from the last video, a lot of comments say, "Oh, you can't do it such a short length, or you know, it's not gonna, you can't do it properly, or it can't be accurate." I think a lot of people say it can't be that accurate because it's so small. Well, we offered it up onto the existing roof on both parts of it, using the function where you lay the blade along the rafter and then level it up until the vials level, and it worked out at 38 degrees. So we thought, okay, we'll go with that. We checked it all around, everywhere it said it was 38 degrees. So just to be double sure and to please everybody, we checked it with a speed square as well.
Yeah.
And it was spot on 38 degrees.
Was it? Yeah.
Exactly spot on. People are saying about the surface that it covers. So it's you know, this is quite small, and if there's a little bump in the timber or a little undulation somewhere, it's going to throw it out. You know, fair enough. It happens all the time. You have to recut until you get it right. Then you've got a pattern. Yeah. But the whole thing with we're saying about the surface area that this covers is when you start measuring your angle, your surface area is that little point there.
Yeah.
So
if there was a dip.
Yeah, if there was a dip
or any kind of blemish or whatever,
or a bump or something, you know, that is your surface area, like a millimetre point.
Yeah.
So it's still a great tool.
So even though that's a 12-inch speed square, the actual pivot point is no bigger, is it?
No.
So nothing, yeah.
In fact, it's smaller than the point you've got. I mean, you could probably see if that wasn't sitting accurately or something. We used the Rufus to mark that line there.
Yeah.
Checked it against the level. It was spot on.
I'm looking at roofing squares, or devices for marking out plumb cuts and bird's mouths. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 6 of the best and just give you a quick run through on how to use them. So what we've got here is a really nicely, this is GRP, this plastic, it's not just cheapo plastic. James King showed me this and he used it, he bought one, he actually crowdfunded it, so he was one of the first people to invest in it, if you like. So if you look up here, you'll see that 35 degrees is clearly marked on the edge, on the scale there, so we can set that. But supposing we want to mark a plumb cut, it says plumb cut there, so we just set that on the piece of timber there. That's absolutely in line with the others. And then if we want to do the seat cut, we simply turn it round to there and we slide it up. There we are, there's the line. That's the line we made previously with one of the other devices. Spot on. So that 35 degrees is consistent with what every other one of those devices was telling us. If we want to do our hips and our valleys, we turn over here, and then what we need to do is loosen it off on the handle and reset using exactly the same side as we did before. So let's just check that. That's that side there. So we'll reset that for 35 degrees, which is there. That's precisely on the 35. And now we're set up to do the hips and the valleys, the seat cut, and also the plumb cut, which is there. We can get our plumb cut, as you can see. There's the one for the other rafters.